Hi you guys. So I wanted to chat about why I got into questions of why, Alexis, did you pick the apartment that you did? Don't mind the side of my face, I'm actually just putting on makeup. Why did I pick the apartment that I did? Because we saw a large range of apartments. We saw penthouse units, we saw apartments that leaned a little bit more luxury, had more amenities. So let me give you the rundown of why I picked the apartment that we did. First and foremost, I will say the Lord knows the desires of your hearts. When I say I would have not picked Philly for myself, I would have not picked Philly. But truly, when I say the Lord knows the desires of your heart, if you guys know me in my personal life, you guys know that I've dreamed of being an East Coast girly. That has always kind of been the plan or a motivational factor. But at the time, I did not see Philadelphia as being in the cards. I wanted to stay in Dallas. I wanted to stay by family, truly. And so when my husband comes before me and he says, babe, love, I think the Lord is calling us to Philly. Tough pill to swallow. I said, okay, I'm still gonna kick and scream to a degree. And when we got our residency match results, my stomach dropped. But for some reason, I knew we weren't gonna stay in Texas. At the end of the day, I know the Lord was preparing me for us to move. 100%. So when I say the Lord knows the desires of your hearts, young Alexis dreamed of being in the East Coast, dreamed of New York, dreamed of being in a big city in the East Coast. When I tell you Philadelphia has exceeded my expectations, I feel like I'm becoming the person that I want to be here. I'm becoming the person that the Lord has also called me to be here. Dallas was no longer fitting. I can say that confidently, and I could say that confidently even when I was in Dallas. Dallas was no longer aligning with who I wanted to become, no longer aligning with who the Lord was calling me to be. Even though career-wise, I'm in the Bible Belt in Dallas, I would have had no trouble finding a job here. It's a different story. So, why did I pick the apartment? A, safety. The location of my apartment, I love it. It's safe. It's amazing. Safety, especially for being a transplant and learning to navigate the city, this was one of the better options. We were like, Alexis, you gave up the penthouse, you gave up so many other things. Like, guys, the location, the charm, oh my goodness, the charm of the neighborhood. As someone who loves charm and character, this neighborhood has it. My next point is the walkability aspect of my neighborhood. So if you guys didn't know, Philadelphia is one of the top rated cities for walkability. So I'm like, if we're moving to Philadelphia, why am I gonna live 30 minutes from the city when if we live within center city or the inner city, we get the perks of walking. And walking is truly like a love language to me. And I love the walkability because we can walk to go get pizza, we can walk to go get dinner, we can walk to go get ice cream. Like, walking is just naturally ingrained in our everyday lifestyle living here, and that's nice to see that. There's something to be romanticized about walking and like living somewhere that you love and in the neighborhood that you live. Oh my goodness, like I love my morning walks here. It's so good, so good. Like I wake up in awe every day knowing that like the Lord called me here, and like he knew that I wanted to live somewhere like that, but because I wanted to be so close to family, like I was willing to give that up. My next point is the community aspect. I see the same people here walking their dogs or like walking to go get coffee, and it has made conversation and meeting people so much easier than it did in Texas. Because where I lived in Dallas, like people just in and out, going to your car, going into your apartment. There was nothing anchoring people to linger. So, and then My third point is, even though we looked at so many luxury apartments or higher a different bracket of luxury apartments, this one is it. There's just something about this. Like, I'm able to walk to the grocery store, I'm able to bike. Oh my goodness, like, I have an e-bike. Like, who would have thought? But Alexis, me, has always desired to have an e-bike, very sustainable. So there's just multiple facets, and I just, every day I walk outside and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is my life. I wonder if this is what people that live in New York, that move to New York, they're like just completely in awe of where they live because that's where they wanted to be. Granted, I didn't know I wanted to be in Philadelphia, but like my husband, he sat me down, he said, this is where I think the Lord is calling us to go. And for him to be obedient to that, but then also him considering like all my wants and desires as well, like me wanting to be in a walkable city, me in Texas, it felt like it ran its course. So to have a God and have a husband who goes before the Lord and in obedience, and also puts your desires as well, because we did move for him, but to have a partner that goes before the Lord and puts you before themselves, even though this is it gets me a little teary-eyed, because that's a man of God. And the other aspect is that it really lends itself to my slow living aspect of my life. Like, I very much love to tend the garden. I love to take things a little slower. Not really all about the hustle and bustle, but you're like, Alexis, like the irony, because you live in such an urban area. Yeah, I'm living my Hannah Montana life. And for some of you, you might ask, Alexis, but you gave up the penthouse, the luxurious amenities. But guys, it's all about the location, the charm, the community aspect. All those other things weren't really important to me. I wanted to live somewhere that truly is not about the optics or what other people are saying or what they deem I should get. I wanted to live truly authentically who the Lord has called me to be in this new season and live in obedience. And while I'm standing in obedience, there's peace. Even in this room of disarray, opened boxes, multiple things on the floor, there is peace here. There's peace in the disarray. There's peace in the uncomfortable. There's peace because I'm standing in obedience and accordance to the Lord of where he has called me to be. If I'm being quite honest, and it's no secret around here that the last couple of moves I have kicked and screamed and longed and kept looking back to where the Lord has called me out of. And this past year, I've really learned and leaned into the Lord telling me, Alexis, I need you to be present. I need you to build roots. I need you to stop looking back and longing from the place that I called you out of. That is no longer serving you. And when I say this move has exceeded my expectations, it's because there's peace in obedience. You know, just because my apartment is in disarray doesn't mean that peace can't live there. Just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean that there can't be peace there. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be uncomfortable and nervous, but you can still feel at peace because you're walking in accordance to what the Lord has called you. And I can't help but think about Lot's wife when the Lord was continuously telling me, Alexis, build roots, stop looking back. Build roots, stop looking back. You know, if you're not familiar with Lot's wife, she's in the book of Genesis. She disobeyed an angelic warning to not look back while fleeing the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And as a consequence, she became a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. Do I want to be a pillar of salt? It might not be literally. It could be figuratively. I could miss out on what the Lord has for my life because I keep looking back. Am I gonna miss out on the assignment that the Lord has called me to be in currently? In this Christian moving diaries, it's not just about organizing and homemaking, but truly, I feel like moving is a physical expression of being called out of an old season into a new season. So daughters of Christ, Are you gonna turn into a pillar of salt? Well, and as of post-grad, how's that going? Well, if you guys know, I'm a pastoral leadership major. I graduated a couple of months ago, and honestly, is the speculation of finding a job with a pastoral degree hard? Is the speculation true? Sadly, it is. It doesn't help that I left the Bible Belt either. But has that changed my obedience? Has that changed my outlook on God? Truly, it hasn't. I know that the Lord has called me here. The Lord has called me to my degree. The Lord has never left me. The Lord has a perfect plan. Now, is it scary? At some point did I feel doubt that I should have picked a more prestigious calling, a more prestigious career? Most definitely. But I'm blindly faithful to the Lord. I am confident in the Lord that He will put me in the right place. It's a little daunting, a little scary, but that hasn't truly shaken my faith, because I know that the Lord has brought me this far and He's not going to leave me. He's never had. He's been so faithful. What is the testament to Him being faithful into my life? It's how He continuously shows up when I least expect it. You know, I'm not asking to be associate pastor. I'm not asking for that. You know, I'm asking to put me where He wants me to be. To put me where He has called me to be. And you know, it might not even be ministry. Sometimes the Lord calls you to a different job before He puts you where He needs you, because you need to grow. And you know what brings great comfort to me in this time of not knowing what I'm going to do post-grad? Truly, I have faced rejection after rejection after rejection. Has that kind of shaken my faith a little bit? Honestly, yeah. But I'm not losing faith in where the Lord has called me to be. I'm not losing faith in knowing that He called me to ministry. I'm not losing faith that He called me to build Christian Girl Next Door. I'm not losing faith in that, because He has continuously showed up in my life over and over again. What record do I have to show for that? My life is the testament to Him continuously showing up in my life on time. Never late, but on time. Continuously faithful to His daughter. So in this time of honestly not knowing what I'm gonna do, but I know faithfully, and I'm putting in the work and applying, that the Lord's gonna put me where He needs me to be. And I find comfort in Hebrews chapter 3 verse 1. It says, "Therefore, holy brothers, you who share in a heavenly calling, consider Jesus, the apostle and high priest of your confessions, who was faithful to Him who appointed him, just as Moses also was faithful in God's house." So as someone who shares the calling to be in ministry, and I'm not losing faith, I look to Jesus and I look to Moses being boldly faithful, blindly faithful to the Lord. So yes, ministry starting out is a little scary. It's a little uncomfortable. But when I say I have such a peace, such a confidence, I do. But this is just the reality. No one ever really wants to talk about how hard it is to get a job out of post-grad, having a pastoral leader degree. Sometimes I wish I would have picked a different degree, but I didn't. But I'm not losing faith in my Lord. His plans are perfect.